Welcome to Milk and Mummies podcast. This podcast was created simply because I found myself happily pregnant and self-employed and wondering, how was I gonna juggle it all? Get comfy as we talk all things motherhood, working for yourself, and finding that elusive balance, honestly. Oh my gosh, babe, thanks. Cheers, doll.
Cheers to you.
And that's how we start the podcast. Hi, guys. You're hearing a lot of S's because I'm also wearing Invisalign. So I'm sticking to my 22 hours a day wearing these goddamn braces. So the S's are going to be real pronounced. Forgive me. But anyway, guest, who are you? What do you do? What's your name? Hi.
So many questions all at once. Oh my God. Hi. Oh, I'm not making it. Am I breaking things already?
You're not.
Okay. Hi. So I am Uche Abuah. And I guess I can just describe myself as a creative.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a creator in many ways. Mm-hmm. I wear quite a few different hats. I guess my main occupation would be an actor. Then I am also very, very passionate about hair. I am a curly hair specialist and educator. And that is, those are my work hats. On top of all of that, I am married with 3 wonderful children.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yeah. One who just turned 11, the eldest. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah. That sounds crazy. Like, when did
We're
that all
just
happen?
listing it all out. It
yeah.
just sounds nuts. Oh my gosh.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Does it... Excuse me. I mean, it's a lot and we giggle, but like, how a lot is a lot?
It's, you know what? There are some days when I'm like, I'm superwoman, go, 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 go. And I've got this, built myself up to this like non-negotiable place where exercise and time to myself is completely non-negotiable, because I've realized that when I don't fill my cup, I have a terrible day, and so do the rest of the family.
Yeah, okay.
So there are days when it's like boom, 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 boom. Everything is on the head. Like today. Yeah. Everything was bang on. Like 4 a.m. get up. By 4:30 I'm at the gym. By 6 I'm back home.
Yeah.
You know, waking the kids up. You know, it flows.
Yeah.
And those days are fabulous. But there's some days that don't flow so easily.
Yeah.
And it can be very overwhelming. I've realized that those days that don't flow so easily are very, very closely, tightly knitted to my menstrual cycle.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So that's something that's an area that I'm very much obsessed with.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm just reading up about what my menstrual cycle means to my life and how I can use it for my benefit, for my family's benefit, because, you know, she is our in-house thermostat, you know, our in-house navigation system of, you know, what am I doing today? Yeah. Where am I today? This month, this part of the month, you know? Yeah. So, instead of going against her, use her.
Yeah, exactly. Because going against her isn't really possible. I mean, you can try. She's always going to let you know what time it is.
She's going to punch you in the face.
There you go. But I mean, so your day typically starts at 4 a.m.
Yes.
Phenomenal. That's awesome. Because typically you hear about the 5 a.m. club, and it's never really the 4 a.m. club.
Well, it was 5. I'd say it was 6 a.m.
Okay.
Until I birthed children that wake up at 6 a.m. Naturally.
Okay, cool.
I'm wide awake.
Hello.
With stuff to say.
Okay.
So I had to dial it back to 5 a.m. And now that I am more expensive, I'm not older, I'm more expensive. That's my favorite term.
Sorry. That is a phenomenal term.
Yes,
now that I'm
darling.
more expensive.
Now that I'm more expensive. Because
acquired.
Yeah, we don't get older.
Ooh.
We just get more expensive. So our time is costly. So I realized that now I'm more expensive. Going to the gym is not an hour thing anymore. It's more like a 2-hour thing, because I need to take my time. I need to stretch. I need to warm up. It's not a wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
And out the door. Yeah. injury will tell you that it's not.
Listen,
Yeah.
the way my back speaks to me now, I was like, okay. And then since Zena, the way my pelvis speaks to me now, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I gotta take these stretches way more seriously than I used to.
Way more seriously.
Yeah. I want to find a yoga or a Pilates space because something I do enjoy. Something I did back in the day, but I don't anymore. But I was like, I can see how that could be a very healthy addition to my fitness regime. So
absolutely. Does wonders. Absolutely does. I will say I've been hairdressing full time. I say full time. I've been in the game since I was about 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so just last week.
I mean, obviously,
darling, I'm more expensive than that, Charlie. So for 30 years, I've been in the game, but fully, I'd say, in the game with my feet on the ground on the salon floors for the last 11, 12 years.
Okay.
And in all that time, I've never, even during pregnancy, and I was working right till birth.
Okay.
With all three.
Yeah.
I can hands down say I've never had back pain.
Okay. And that's impressive because that's standing on your feet a lot.
Sometimes for like 14, 15 hours.
Yeah.
And that is down to that non-negotiable time I give to myself. It's, I mean, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I would do this every single day.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've had moments where I'm like, okay, no, that ain't going to work because I need to be up on my feet. So therefore I need to get my backside out of bed, go and stretch. So even if it's a 10 to 15 minute stretch in the morning,
get it done.
And that is for me. I like to find solutions rather than and rather than medication. I like to preempt. So definitely get that stretch in, girl, where you can. 10 minutes before bed, 10 minutes when you wake up. Oh my gosh, get it in.
All right, before bed. Okay.
Yes.
I was like, I can do it first thing in the morning. Okay, before bed. I'm gonna find the time. It has to happen.
It does.
Period.
You get rid of that stress from the day.
Yeah.
And that's the 10 minutes before bed I've only just really adopted as I've gotten more expensive. But waking up and stretching, even if it's just on your bed. It makes such a difference. Yeah. Because back pain ain't it, man.
Bro, it is not the one.
It ain't it.
It's just to be doing something mid-flow and then like you're now halted and everything stops.
Yes.
Your back is...
that sharp pain.
Yeah.
Hey,
and it's central to everything. Now you're like, okay, now I have to figure out what it is and then move my limbs bit by bit. And it's so scary. So
you can prevent it.
I can do stretches in the morning and in the evening.
In the evening, trust me.
It's not a problem. Not
trust
too much
me.
to ask.
It works.
Have you always wanted to be a mother?
I have.
Do you know when or how long from?
It's funny now watching my daughter. I feel like I'm watching myself grow up.
Oh wow!
It's so fascinating. I never thought, first of all, I'd ever be a mother to girls.
Okay.
Right? I dreamt, and I have witness to this because my mum told me that I used to tell her from a very young age, Mummy, I'm going to have 4 boys.
Oh, wow.
And when I have 4 boys, I'm going to have 4 boys. And when I have them, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to homeschool. I'm going to... all these things. And I probably was about 4 or 5 years old.
Wow. Just boys. That was it.
In my mind, that's what I envisioned.
Do you know why?
I grew up... I have 2 sisters and a brother.
Yeah.
They are all quite close together. I came 4 years after them.
Okay.
So they had all left for school, boarding school, and I was in Nigeria. We were all in Nigeria at the time. So when we started moving to the UK, my brother moved first, and then I moved when I was 6 to the UK. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time with my brother, his friends, and I was just around boys. So in my mind, that's what I knew. My sisters, I knew them, but I didn't spend those formative years with them. They'd already gone to boarding school. Yeah. So in my head, I was like, well, I have some friends at school that are girls, but I tend to get on more with boys. I like rolling around in the mud. I didn't care about my hair. I was just getting on with it. Yeah. So in my head, that was where I was going. So flash forward to I had 2 boys to start with, and that was not a surprise. I was like,
of course, that
1,
was it.
2. And then my 3rd baby, when I was pregnant, my son, who I feel like first children have this prophetic gift, because he kept telling me, okay, right, mummy, my brother's coming, and he was right. Then when I was pregnant for number 3, he's like, mummy, you're going to have a princess.
Oh.
And he looked me in the eye, and at this point, I think he was about 3.5.
Oh my gosh, don't even.
He looked me in the eye. It's like, you have to get ready, right? And I was like, and it was like, that hit me. I was like, something in him knows that mummy was not planning on having a girl. It's like, princess. What do you mean I'm having a princess? So now she says she's 6 now, soon to be 7, and yes, she has her personality. She's also creative. Told me very early on she wants to be an actress.
Oh wow, okay.
And I was getting ready the other day. She was staring at me, and she's like, "Mummy, I just want to be you." And I was like,
"Don't make me cry, 'cause I will."
I'm just like, what does that mean?
Oh.
But she's just like, she's just looking at me, and I realized, gosh, she's my biggest fan at this point.
Yeah.
She really is. So, so she's mimicking things that I do, and then making it her own. And she's got this feisty personality that I feel like was kind of kicked out of me a little bit, because I grew up a bit in Nigeria, and it's like, you don't speak unless you're spoken to. Whereas she's kind of just free.
Yeah.
Not kind of. She is just free to just be herself. She's very polite and very sweet. So where am I going with this? Yeah. So I feel like I'm watching myself grow up, because she is obsessed with babies.
Oh yeah.
And that was me.
Were you? Okay.
Obsessed. And I know, and from before she could even walk, she's like, she'd see other babies and be like, come,
hold that one,
give me. So we've always called her mama, like she's a mama. So I remember being called mama.
Wow.
I remember thinking, I'm gonna be a mum one day. And when I was 8, I was like the best. Everyone was borrowing me from my parents. Like, can she come and stay for the weekend? When they had babies, because they knew I was great with babies. Yeah. I just loved them and still do. So I've always, as far as I've known, wanted to be a mum.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I hear my boys talk about being parents as well, which is quite sweet.
But how surreal is that though?
Yeah,
the oldest, as you said, is now 11.
Yeah.
So 11 and 8?
Yes.
What is that like, hearing them speak about wanting to be parents?
So funny.
Do you mean, I feel like it's something that you might typically hear with girls, or at least that's what I'm used to or conditioned to hearing. What's that like from young men, young boys? It is
adorable. And they talk about it in a bit more of a mechanical way. Okay. Because obviously they're growing up to be men. And so for them it's like, well, you get married and you have kids. Yeah. Whereas my daughter's like, she can't wait to squeeze. So Friday to her is cheek day. Okay. She goes around squeezing everybody's cheeks. So she talks about squeezing her baby's cheeks. Whereas my sons are, especially my eldest, for him he's like 1 + 1 = 2. So when I get to this age, I'm going to meet someone, and then I'm going to be a dad, and then so forth. My second born, on the other hand, he's so adamant from a young age. He's like, I'm not getting married.
Okay, fair.
Marriage is not for me.
Okay, cool.
And I'm like, well, cool. Yeah. But then my eldest was a very interesting conversation. We were in the car once, and I think they were 5 and 3 at this point. And the middle son is having his marriage conversation, which he randomly would do. Like, 3-year-old. He's like sat there in the back.
So trippy.
I'm getting married. Nobody ... My son, marriage isn't for me. I'm like, you're 3 years old. Why are we talking about this? So then the eldest one day broke his silence. I was like, why? He's like, if you're going to have children, it's advisable you get married. So I'm listening to this 5-year-old.
And I love when they drop big words as well. Go on. Yep, fab, perfect. He's been listening. He's been learning.
And then the 3-year-old's thinking, he's like, okay, well, and I love children, and I want children. Okay. Yeah. So if I decide to have kids, I'll get married.
Okay. which is fair.
So that's how they talk about being fathers.
Yeah.
So it's very different.
Man, adorable.
But still sweet at the same time.
Yeah. You mentioned that you're an actor first. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did that as a job and knowing what the industry is like, how did that marry up with becoming a mother? If it ever caused any conflict or not, or because I guess I don't know what it was like growing up for you when viewing the industry, but there was definitely a period of time, at least, where it felt as though you can't be all these things. If you're an actress, you're an actress. You're dedicated to the job or the role. Motherhood takes you away from these things, or certain relationships can take you away from being present to all the opportunities or where you're supposed to go to. So did that ever cause a conflict for you or not at all?
So to answer this question, I need to go back a bit again and explain how acting came into my life. I've always been, because I'm the youngest child, center of attention, center stage everywhere, and that's very much my personality. So growing up, dancing, singing, never really even knew what acting was. Just knew that I loved being on stage. So I sang. I was in a girl group at a point in my life, traveling around, sang on stage in church and things like that. Then, as a Nigerian, of course, you're going to university. Doesn't matter whether you are very good at anything. You're still going to university. You'll find something. So went to university and studying for my
what did you study?
my major. I did psychology, which is perfect. I still study around.
It fits into like your life, right?
Yes, into everything I do, and I still study around it till today. And whilst studying, I was like, somebody told me, there's, there are, instead of getting a job in retail to make extra money, you can do extras work. I was like, what's extras work?
Got ya. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I can go and sit on a bus and just be reading my book and then be making money. And someone will call me and they'll snap me right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I remember
that. That's how I got into acting, because obviously I knew TV, I knew films, but I wasn't into it like that. So I got my first job. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was very cozy, very small, number of extras, and I was just watching everything on set, taking it all in. I was looking at all the different people running around and was obsessed with all the tasks they were doing. I was like, that person's doing that, setting up that light, setting up that mic. Oh, where's the director? Oh, that's a producer. So more jobs would come in, and they were always small, cute jobs that were very cushy.
Perfect.
And then soon after, I started extras work, I started getting lines. I would just be picked to do lines on the day. And I was like, what, me? Oh, sure. Okay. And then they'd give me a line and I would do it. And then I got chosen to do more. I didn't have an agent. I was I was going through like casting, the usual extras agencies.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then I did a really big job, which I didn't realize how big it was until I did it.
Yeah.
Then I had agents calling me. I was like,
oh, what was it?
Oh, okay. Well, it was Doctor Who.
Oh.
So I was again an extra.
Oh my gosh, that's dope.
And then I got a line.
Yeah.
So then I then did the line, and then this is how, when people say they fall into something,
that's how it is.
I had a credit, which I didn't even realize it. Oh, you get credits?
Yeah.
Oh, so you get credits?
Yeah.
Sorry. So then I got a call from an agent. I was like, oh, okay. So this is how it works then. Then that's how it progressed. And so I found a love for being on film. It lasts forever. You can go back to it. It never dies. So that's why I call myself an actor first, because I feel like it's all encompassing, whether it's singing, dancing, performing on stage, acting on screen. It's all,
Oh, awesome. So with that, and then motherhood.
So motherhood, yes.
How did that?
Because I fell into acting, it wasn't something I was like, hell bent on. I want to do this. I grew up with this dream.
Yeah.
when motherhood came around, it wasn't even a question. It was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to, there's no choice.
Yeah.
Motherhood is motherhood.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted that. So if I have to take a break, I have to take a break.
Okay.
It also helped that I'm married to a director and producer and writer. So I was still able to flex my acting muscles quite heavily, actually, because it then pushed me to do a bit more, even because now I wasn't just acting. I'm also learning the inner works and, what's a producer? What does a gaffer do more, deeply? What does a director do? And so even though I'm with child and breastfeeding, I'm watching, the inner workings of production and learning. I got, massive opportunity to be a lead in our first feature film.
Nice.
It's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. With that being said, where it wasn't a choice, motherhood was going to happen regardless, and then you're now in a space where you've had the opportunity and are having the opportunity to see the work behind everything that's going into film. What was your journey through pregnancy like, especially now that you're taking a quote-unquote break from it all?
During that time?
Yeah.
So I worked the whole time. That's the thing, that when you are creative, it's not really work. It becomes play.
Yeah. So
I'm playing as an actor and I'm playing with hair. It was one or the other. So there was a time I used to hate having loads of interests.
Okay. Is that because you hear the types of sayings like jack of all trades, like master
focus
of
on one thing,
all that kind of stuff? Because that was so pushed. Like, have one. I'm gonna say one sport. That's incorrect. But have one focus, right? That's the one thing you build, you develop on, and expand, and that's it.
Yes,
I find that difficult too. But
I find it very difficult, and for a lot of my life, I used to get so depressed about it. Imagine, like, oh my God, I'm so good at so many things.
Oh my God,
where is me? But it really did get me down. I'm so glad. I have one of my sisters, my sister before me. She's I guess been my coach since I was a kid. She's a business coach now, but she used to be like, look, it's fine. Yeah, I wish I was good at so many things like you. Just take it one day at a time. Because she's very good at. She's been very academic from a young age. So I used to envy that. Like, why can't I just be academic? Yeah. But now growing up and getting more expensive, I realized that even in business,
I love that so much.
I love it so much. I need to start, branding.
100%. Oh my gosh.
Today. So even in business, you can't put all your investments in one. You need to diversify your portfolio. So obviously, don't do loads of things badly, because I've done that too. But as I've gotten more expensive, I realized that, okay, I'm either playing with film and TV and all the wonderful things I do as an actor, or I'm playing with hair. And that is a beautiful place to be, especially during times like the lockdown. Yeah. I mean,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Once you have a skill you can do with your hands as a creator, you will never lack.
Yeah, that's true.
And I feel so blessed and so grateful for that, because I think about my life, and as a life as a child, going into school, then into college, into university, and into where I am now, it has sustained me being able to play with hair. Yeah. So I guess what I'm saying is, yes, you are good at and have interests in loads of things. Don't do all of them badly. Yeah. Do some of them very well. Yeah. Find your niche, zero in on that. And that's something that, I'm still doing daily, zeroing in. And as life takes you, you might find, you might even find things that you didn't realize you were so good at within that thing. Yeah. That is your niche. I've always loved curly hair. Since I was a kid, I didn't understand, we've got this voluminous hair. Why would you want to make it less voluminous? And that was something I realized as a 6-year-old. That's when I started braiding and by the age 10, 11, I was working in the West End in a very prestigious black hair salon, like, you know, just making teas, answering the phone, sweeping the floor. And I'd see all these women coming in with their, like, with this straight hair, and then they take off what we now know is wigs. Yeah. At the time, I was like, you know, because back then it was only accessible to really, really rich black women.
Did you say you're working at 10, 11?
Yes, girl.
Woo! So, I mean, that was me at home, but not...
My sister got me the job. I was like 10, 11, 12, Saturday job, and it was amazing because I was exposed to excellence from such an early age within the niche that I'm in now.
Yeah.
Not niche, or the hair industry. So I could see black excellence and how it, you know, it represents itself within the hair industry. Yeah. So it frames where I am now.
Yeah.
And I'd see these women come in and take this off, and there'd be all this volume, and then they'd walk out with it straight again. I'm like, wait, so that is where the obsession with curly hair really started to germinate.
Yeah.
And then it got even more pungent when I actually did a modeling job when I was, I can't remember, around that age. I did a modeling job, and they put conditioner in my hair and turned out to be a relaxer.
Oh, that's the worst thing. I hate stories like that when you haven't chosen to have that done. Yeah. That's the worst.
They didn't know what to do with my hair because I had lots of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's just put some conditioner. Well, it wasn't. So all of it, the front just, it was on my pillow the next day.
Oh my gosh.
And that was when I decided, never
again.
But it wasn't happening to me. It was happening for me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this is what I do now. This is what I encourage women to embrace, their naturalness, their natural glow.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
shout out to the Instagram handle now.
Yes, baby girl.
Natural
Glow, GLOE. And glow actually stands for God's light on earth. So that is your light. That's your halo. And that is, you know, I'm here to help you find your essence and enjoy that natural glow, and not manage it. Like, it's not a project, it's something to be enjoyed, and that is my niche. You know,
it's been really beautiful watching this, or at least it feels like there's a shift more and more with natural hair, where there are more and more products coming out. I mean, good or bad, whatever you want to say about it, but more and more products are coming out that are catering to curly hair, coily hair, etc. I don't know how I feel about coily hair, to be honest with you, but this is a whole term thing for me. I'm always like fixated on terms. Anyway, but it's been great seeing that, and then also having your social media platforms where women of color from all over the world are able to connect in a more instantaneous way and showcase their hair, showcase their styles, showcase their accessories and products and tools that they use, etc. So that's been really, it's been so gorgeous to witness, and it's been so gorgeous to have the visual element attached to it as well.
Yes.
So that's been, how has that impacted your industry? Has it been as visceral as I've just described, or not really?
It has. Yes, the short answer is yes. It has been. Can you believe there was a time before Instagram? It's crazy.
It's mad.
And we've been a part of it.
Fully.
Yeah.
For me, I think it was MySpace and High Five before.
It was
like
Facebook.
And then, Facebook. They're the most picture-y things I can think of.
Yeah.
I never really got into Pinterest that much.
I don't think I feel like Pinterest is coming up though again.
I know, but I just never knew. I don't think I never connected that well.
I still haven't really connected.
And then Tumblr was a thing.
Yes, Tumblr. And it's interesting because I am very, what's the word? I am visual. Everything about me is visual. I can go somewhere once and I will remember where I've been.
Nice.
I will see a face once, even if it was 15 years ago. I will be like, I know that face.
Yeah.
So with that said, I've always loved the social media. I've taken advantage of it in terms of I've been on it ever since I decided, right, this is my play. This is my play. Like, this is where I'm going to make my money when I'm not on stage.
Yeah.
So I love it because you not only get to showcase your art. Yeah. People also get to know you.
Yeah.
And as a service provider, as a vendor, and with the way I feel about hair, it's not the same for everybody, but the people that I attract into my business as my customers, because I think that I choose my customers and they choose me. I don't just, it's not just okay, here you go, I'm a service. at where I am now, I feel like I choose my clients spiritually. They come to me and I come to them. So it's been great, because if you can't see receipts of what someone can do, how are you going to put your money and invest your good hard-earned money to now pay for a service? So social media has been amazing. And also it's also been confidence building. I remember a time when I wore my natural hair, and it was like, oh, you're not wearing it in braids. Or you're not wearing, now you're not wearing a wig, but you're not wearing it in braids. You're wearing your hair out. Really? This is not even that long ago, maybe 15 years ago. You know, and I would wear my hair out because, you know, as a I know you don't like the coily term, but I don't do the 4Cs and 4Bs and X's and stuff. I don't do all those terms.
I don't even know why coily jars me. I don't know.
It's probably jars me. It probably jars you how like the numbering system and lettering system jars me. We can go into that as well. Jars the heck out of me. It really does.
Oh, okay.
So I use coily as a way. I will tell you quickly why it jars me, because why are we number 4 as coily girls? Yeah, surely that's where, you know, it should start we should be at 1, and straight is.
I'd never thought of that before.
Switch it upside down. So, you know, like, why are we 4? And then it also confuses people, because they have, I've done your hair. I've had the pleasure of playing with your hair. And you've got about 2 or 3 different textures in your hair. So
I do. Sorry.
Categorizing system is just yet another way to put people in boxes, to sell products, to yet again divide us. We're already divided. So it's another reason why my name, Natural Glow, everybody who walks in my salon has their own glow, has their own curl pattern, because there is no way to put people in boxes. Now, I know it helps with education and putting people in, okay, this person has that type of hair, but numbering and lettering is kind of redundant, especially if you're in the business of seeing curls daily. Like, it means nothing. Trust me. Any curl specialist you meet today will tell you it don't work.
I was about to ask you what that conversation must be like with other curl practitioners.
Because what's nice is we're all coming together. Curl specialists within the UK and beyond are now, and that's another thing why social media is great, because we're seeing each other. There was a time when I did there was a hair expo I did. I went on stage, and it was really big audience, and I started talking about, we need to stop oiling our scalps.
The world, what?
Literally, it was like, it was cricket. You could see haystacks. People were like, huh? We've grown up greasing our scalps.
This is true.
And people did not like that. This is a good 15 years ago. Whoa. And I was like, who was she talking about? Okay. And I kind of just was like in my corner. But then as social media has grown and become more accessible and easier to use, we're finding ourselves, people who are speaking the same language. Oh, you believe that too? Yes, I've been doing this for years and seeing results. So that's, for me, it's been very much a part of my creativity when it comes to playing with hair.
Yeah, interesting. I'd never thought of it that way before. That's that kind of makes sense. Yeah, like you kind of go, it's curly, less curly. Then
it should go downwards.
Yeah, that's
because we're the blueprint, are we not?
Ooh, give
in
it
many
to
ways.
Me, I'ma take that. Yeah, no, yes.
So why are we number 4?
Yeah, never thought.
Drop the mic.
We be learning things today, guys. We be learning
Every
things.
day is a school day.
There you go. Damn. Sorry, that's overthrown me. Like, it really has. In a good way. I'm like, damn.
It's food for thought, baby. You better eat it up.
Yeah, no, that's what's happening. That's legit what's happening right now. Carrying your babies.
Yes.
What was that like? So you're working up until birth.
That's where we were.
Child as it is. Sorry, conversation goes where it goes.
Yeah.
How did you adjust physically to that? And then also maintaining or managing your businesses alongside that. I know that's 3 pregnancies to kind of whittle down into a story, I guess. But
adjusting physically, again, I have to attribute it to exercise. Okay. I have always been active, and I have to give it up to I've got an energetic personality. I've been an energetic child. My mum would throw me into every group going.
Because, you needed to. She needed the break, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, it's a big, when you take a break, 4 years doesn't seem long. But when and she didn't take an intentional break. She had, without telling her business, she had, she had me 4 years later because she'd been trying, right? 4 years doesn't seem like a big gap, but it kind of is because with your kids, if you think about the school system, the others are gone. Yeah. So I was very much with her. Like I felt like an only child for quite a lot of my childhood. So she would need to put me in things for that reason, I've always been active and always felt the need to be. I wasn't doing netball, athletics, swimming, all the things. So going back to pregnancy, it was only right to then now figure out ways to make sure my body was moving and effective for where I was in that, in that place of being a mother for the first time or, growing a child. So I discovered yoga. That's the first time I discovered yoga for myself. I was, goodness me, how old was I with my first child now? 28, 29? Yeah, 28, 29, because he's 11 now. Yeah, so I discovered yoga and I was weightlifting and doing all the things pretty much until I was about 7 months. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great amount of time.
And then, but yoga as well.
Yeah.
So it felt like it wasn't this, and I'm pregnant. It was like, I was just being. And so when to answer that question, it just flowed, which was nice. Because I'd never had any other real examples. I was the first of my siblings to have a child. So it was just like, I didn't read any books. I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to go with the flow.
Okay. And you not reading any books, was that a conscious choice?
Yes.
Or just, Yeah.
My body is a sponge. The one time, so my husband was the opposite. He'll read everything, watch everything. Okay. So he had downloaded this app that would tell him, okay, you are 20 weeks gestation. This is what should be happening.
Okay,
right?
Yeah, I think I had something similar. Go on.
And I didn't, one day I just picked up his phone and saw it. I was like, you should be having heartburn. And I was like, should I? But I'm not. The next morning I was waking up with heartburn.
Oh, okay.
I was like, why didn't I do that? I hadn't had heartburn up until then. Time. Okay. And then after that, however, there was one update I saw after that, which has stuck with me and it was beautiful. And it said, it was 20 weeks gestation. And if you are having a girl at this point in the process, she has all the eggs in her womb that she will need. Yeah. And it blew my mind. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. Right. And I get goosebumps even now.
I know, that hit me as well.
I'm carrying my grandchildren right now. And
how phenomenal is that?
I just, you know what? I was like, I am a superwoman. Hello. I'm carrying child plus children. Hey. Come on now. Please. Don't play with it. Just put some respect on this. It's not a joke. So that was one update that I was not sad that I missed. Did I say that right?
You
I was happy that I
didn't
miss it, because that has shaped actually how I see my menstrual cycle and how I'm teaching my children, not just my daughter. I'm also teaching my sons, because I think it's something we have to teach them too, so they can see the power in creation, not just because, yes, we're women, we carry children. They are men, and they actually, without them, there is no child. Yeah. So it's they are very much a part of the cycle. Process, for sure. Yeah. So goosebumps.
Yeah, now talk to me about menstrual cycles, because I know it's been on your mind right now. You said you're obsessed with the whole process right now. What's going on, girl?
Oh, girl. I'm obsessed because I'm just trying to make my way through. I need to see the wood. I can't see the wood for the trees because we are really not encouraged to understand it.
Okay.
From a young age. And I believe it's something we should be encouraging, like I said, women and men, girls and boys, because it's such an important, not only for the childbirth side of things, but for just life. You know, because the whole mood swing thing, like we joke about it, but really it's so tightly knit into like mental health. If you think about it, if you don't know what's happening in your body and you just think you at some points, I used to think I was going insane.
Yeah.
Whereas really it might just been a case of a switch. Okay, you're in this phase right now. This is what you need. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't like to medicate. I like to preempt, right? So if you know the information, then you can plan.
Yeah.
So now I'm learning. Okay, this is where I am in this stage of my menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
This is where I'm more energetic. So what should I eat? Okay, this is what I should eat in this stage. That will give me even more energy, gives me even more focus. Okay, next week you're going to be in I can't remember all the names. I wish I did.
Phase and did a phase. I'm going to do a quick Google. But
there are phases.
Yes,
there are phases when you should. I've got a little thing that I look at. There are phases that you can be more effective in if you knew exactly where you were.
Yeah.
You know, okay, right, this phase I'm going to be more energetic. So, right, I'm going to do all the admin work for the house and, you know, the buying of taking stock, organizing things so that in this phase, I can actually rest.
Yeah.
So that on the day of the first bleed, you're chilling.
You're ready.
Your body is at rest.
Yeah.
Because what I was doing, or what most of us do, is we're just going full throttle.
Yeah, it's true.
The whole time. It's not possible.
Yeah. And then getting frustrated potentially that, your periods come in. Now I've got to stop. Yeah. Or adjust, and then as you said, because you haven't planned, you don't know what adjustments you need to make.
Exactly.
So, like, guys, quick Google lesson for you right now. The 4 phases of the menstrual cycle are the follicle phase, ovulation, and it says 4, but it's giving me 3, and the luteal phase. So we've got obviously menstruation is the first phase of the menstrual cycle. It's the first day of bleeding. We've got the follicle phase, which is known as, oh my gosh, my English is going to get tested. All right, the follicle phase, also known as the proliferative phase. And then you've got ovulation, obviously, which can vary depending on the length of your cycle. And then the luteal phase, am I pronouncing that right? The luteal phase?
Luteal, I call it luteal.
Which is known as the secretory phase. That's also part of the cycle.
Yeah.
Guys, on this podcast, I know you're well versed with the very interesting ways in which I say my English words. So you're very welcome for that. Back to you, Uche. You were saying?
So it's been a learning, a place of learning, because obviously now I'm 40. I've been looking forward to being 40 for a long time, and I'm here, and I was like, talk
me through that. What do you mean? I'm not mad, but I'm just like,
I love it. It's a place where you don't give a shit.
This is true. It's true.
Don't try me.
The more expensive the more expensive you are. When I look at other people who are more expensive, it's true. There are zero.
You know who you are.
It's true.
You're like, okay, I know where I'm putting my time. I know where I'm not putting my time. I know what is important to me. Not in a rude way, but in a way like you just become. And you work up to it. You don't just become 40 and it's a switch.
Yeah.
It's something that you've been working on. You get to a place where you know yourself a bit more.
Yeah.
You're not insecure. Like I feel like I've zeroed in to the things that I enjoy doing, and I've realized that I will not do what I don't like to do.
Yeah.
I will only do what makes me happy. If I'm away from my family, it has to be worth it. 100%. I don't have to go to work. I get to go to work. And that for me is important. As a 30-year-old, or even before that, I have to go to work. And that's fine. That's where you are in your life. Like you say yes to everything.
Yeah.
do all the things, learn all the things you need to learn.
Yeah.
But you get to 40 and you're like, oh, this is who I am. I take time when I'm doing my skincare. I go and I take time in the gym. Like, yeah, I need 2 hours in the gym. Absolutely. Problem. Like,
that's what it is.
so I'll find the time, because we all have the same, even, Beyonce doesn't have 48 hours. She has 24 as well. She can get it done. I can get it done.
Yeah.
So, I know she has all her minions.
The
However,
whole team, but, we be getting there. It's cool.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. So we have our 24 hours. So you become more decisive about where you place your energy.
Yeah.
Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Time is energy. Money is energy.
I can agree.
It's all
more.
energy.
Yeah.
So when you get to that age, you just where's my energy in terms of my time, my feelings, my money. You start to, it becomes. You just want softness.
Soft life, more intention, as you said. It's true. Clarity, intention. You've now gained this confidence.
No insecurities.
Yeah.
Like, this is me.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I was so. It's funny you mentioned your Invisalign. I was so obsessed with closing my gap.
Okay.
Obsessed. I was like, I'm gonna close my gap, and God knows the determination in his child or her child. I would have found a way if I didn't have the dentist I had, which I still have.
Okay.
Since the age of 8.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not closing your gap.
Okay.
Auntie Neela.
Auntie Neela.
She's like, nope, I'm not closing your gap. You're gonna need that one day. Yeah.
Did she really?
She said that, and I was like, what do you mean? I'm just gonna close my gap.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'm getting teased. Whereas now I'm like, you can't pay me to stop smiling. I would smile when I'm crying because I'm like, you're gonna see this gap.
Oh my god.
Because this is me. This is my USP. And as the more expensive I'm getting, I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm accepting all the things.
Yeah.
And if anything, making them bigger. So you're gonna see this gap. You're gonna see this.
What's up.
You're gonna see everything. And so that's one thing I really looked forward to. Getting more expensive. But going back to the menstrual cycle. So I'm learning about, what can I eat? Because I'm also big on, being into fitness and wellness.
Yeah.
I'm big into what I should be eating.
Yeah.
Like, we are fueling our bodies. We're not just feeding, we're fueling. So there are certain things you can eat that can make those phases that you mentioned, the look at me, biting my tongue, follicular phase.
Oh gosh, here we go. She's correcting all of my bad English. Go for it.
So
oh my gosh, it is follicular. Yeah.
Yeah. Menstrual phase, follicular phase, luteal phase. Ovulatory phase. It's the third one, and then the last phase is the luteal phase. So that's typically the last 12 to 14 days. So that's when the bleed. I believe. Yeah. Don't quote me, guys. I'm still learning. But there are things you can eat that can help these phases. And, we talk about being bloated, feeling fatigue. You can eat things that, for instance, during the luteal phase, stuff like chickpeas, turkey, cod, halibut. These are the proteins that I would focus on.
Okay.
And in terms of grains, brown rice, millet, veggies, you're going to want to eat pumpkin, sweet potato, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. All fantastic during that phase. Yeah. Whereas in comparison to phase 1, you're going to want your phase 1, which is the menstrual phase. Sorry, that's when the bleed happens. Sorry, I've made a mistake. I would always want beetroots at a certain time of the month. I didn't even connect it.
Okay.
I would always just be craving it.
Yeah.
But then when I started doing this research, I'm like, oh, no wonder.
That's why.
Beetroot, kale, mushrooms, water chestnut, blueberries. These are all, it has to be dark coloured fruits and veggies, proteins, black beans, kidney beans, tofu, edamame, sardines, duck. Those are the kinds of things that you would focus on during that phase. Okay. And I would find that the pain was a lot less, if any. Okay. Bloating, a lot less, if any. I'm still working on the mood side of things. Okay. Still trying to figure out, how can I eliminate this? Because it can be intense at times.
Okay, all right.
But that's the beauty of being a woman. It doesn't stop, does it?
No.
The learning doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't. That's very true.
Self-learning.
Yeah, there we go. What's the name of the app that you are using?
I am not using an app, babe. I am just researching and documenting things for myself.
Just because I'm watching you scroll around, I just thought it was an app that was.
No, not at all. I share stuff on my like bits of what I learn on my socials.
Yeah.
But again,
it's your own research.
It's just stuff that I'm researching and piling to. When I hear it and I see it and it sounds great, I'll share it. But yeah, I don't have an app. What I will say is I've always been scared of like the apps that collect information. Oh, this is when I started my cycle. This is when it's ended. I've never trusted them. Okay. However, I did invest in a lady comp.
Okay.
If you don't know what it is, go do the research.
It's lady comp.
Lady comp. It's a physical. It's probably the best thing I have invested in for my cycle.
And that's a fertility tracker, yeah?
It is.
Lady
I don't do any pills or I don't do anything artificial when it comes to sexual health. So I naturally track my cycle. And that has been a game changer.
Oh, wow.
I spent probably about £500 on it. Okay. And it has been the best. Why? £500. Because it's self-contained. It's not connected to any apps. It's not sending any information anywhere.
Got it.
What she does, I wish I brought her in. There's a temperature thermometer on it. Okay. You take a temperature every single day. Within like a week or so, she gets to know your cycle. Then she then preempts. Okay, your menstrual cycle is going to start on so and so dates, and then. It gives you green days for when you can do the jiggy without any restrictions. And then there are amber days where it's 50-50, girl, your pull-out game may be good. And then the red days where she's like, honey, don't do it. Don't do it. Unless you want number 4.
I'm going to do it. So, don't do it.
So it's just very easy to track. Something that I had never done as a younger child. Although my mum did when we were kids, she did buy us little like diaries where we'd put the dates where we started. I never understood why we were doing it though. She never really explained.
Yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, that happened to me too.
Or just put down where you started to when you finished. And I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like now I can properly explain it to my daughter.
Yeah. And
explain and my boys as well. This is why we're doing this, so that if something changes or if you feel like you don't feel good on this day, it's because of that. It's not because you're going crazy. Yeah. It's because maybe you need to go and rest for a bit. Or maybe you just need to, have a smoothie with these ingredients that will lift your mood, or go and exercise. Yeah. Just do some stretching, or, go and have a swim. So with information, we're empowered. Yeah. So I love this lady comp. Wow. I'm not getting any sort of like, this is not an advert.
Yeah, no
this is just from my heart.
Just genuinely.
I saw someone use it on YouTube. Someone talking about it on YouTube all these years ago. I invested in it when my daughter was 2.
Okay, and you still use
I believe. Was she 2? Was she just? And girl, I started my period right after I had that girl.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you didn't get a break. I had 18 mons period free as I was breastfeeding, but. Again, not every woman experiences that. But
check this out. Something that, at the time I was like, oh my God, I'm starting so soon. And I was about to start hating on my girl. But then she taught me that actually, I don't know if this is factual, something I have not seen. Our menstrual cycles are, even though our daughters haven't started their cycles yet, they are connected. Because even I started maybe 2 weeks after I had her.
Okay.
And this baby that was attached to me, we were friends with benefits because I was her cow. Like she was on my chest. This little girl did not want to be anywhere near me. She would be like, And I was like, what's going on? She'd finish feeding and just push me away.
Okay.
And I was like, and that's when I was like, wait, am I coming on my period? And I didn't know I was coming on my period. I was like, is something happening? I just instantly connected it.
Wow.
And I thought, okay, no, it can't be.
Yeah.
Then second month came, I was like,
same thing
she's
again.
pushing me away. I'm like, wait, this is, again, blew my mind, because remember, at 20 weeks gestation, that whole thing about us being connected with
she's got the ovaries that she needs.
And if me and you worked in the same office, we would have the same cycle, right?
Yeah.
This girl came out of my womb. Of course, we're going to be attached in that way.
Wow.
So even though she's not flowing yet, physically, emotionally, she's flowing.
How interesting.
It's beautiful. So when it's beautiful, and also could be a reason why a lot of people grow up, they may have, stable homes and stuff, but they find they don't really get on with their mums in their teenage years. Girls, I'm talking about. And I feel like my cycle was very much connected to my mum's, I think.
Okay.
And I started very young. I started at 8 years old.
Okay.
And I think we didn't have that closeness because we were navigating that space. Now I'm looking retrospectively. I'm like, wait, maybe that's why we were not getting on.
Wow.
And that's something I really want to work on with my daughter. I want to make it something fun instead of like something we fight over. Like, we understand that we're both here.
Okay.
Let's go get our nails done.
Yeah, self-care days.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's buy ourselves some flowers.
Something.
Let's go stretch together.
Yeah.
So it's just,
Oh, so cute. I want to be your daughter.
Oh, babes.
That's so cute. I'm taking
trying.
tips, right.
I'm trying.
I know Venus too. Okay, how can I? Yep,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
What this is it. I'm obsessed, like psychology of life. I've just been obsessed with it in all the areas. But for motherhood, it's your menstrual cycle is part of you. It's not something that you can pick and choose when you're a mother. So why not own it?
Yeah.
And investing in that lady comp has really changed my. Because we've decided the shop is closed, so it means that it allows us the freedom to naturally plan.
Yeah.
But then it also gives me the information to naturally plan. I'm this is when she's coming, these dates, this is what's going to be happening. It's not always that predictable, but at least I'm informed generally.
Yeah.
No, the lady comp's always accurate, by the way.
Okay.
But in terms of my mood and stuff, it's not always predictable.
Okay, got you.
But she's on point. Now they've got a baby comp, which from the same company. And the baby comp is for those who want to track their cycles, but also want to not only get pregnant, but predict the sex of the child.
No way.
It is, and it's scary how accurate this thing is. So, girl, if you want to be pregnant, but you want to pick where you want, get yourself a baby comp.
Wow.
Trust me. It will be the best money you've spent on your lady in a while.
My goodness.
Technology.
I can't even fathom right now.
If I wasn't using it, I would have been like, she's just gassing. But I've been using her for...
As you said, how long now?
Gosh, Nini's going to be 7 soon.
It's 5 years.
So yeah, 5 years, and she's not led me astray. And what's nice about this company is that, and I believe it's just called Lady Comp.
No, I did a quick Google. It's just Lady Comp.
Yeah. I had an issue with my Lady Comp, and it was very easy to. I just called them up, and they were like, "Yep, send her over here," and then they fixed her, and took it, and then sent it back to me. So it was it's the best investment, honestly.
Best investment.
So all those apps are great, but me, I'm too. I don't trust anyone with my information.
No fair.
I've watched too much. What's that show? The one where they're all wearing red.
Squid Game.
No, not that one. Oh, that's a good one. The one with the
red. Oh, Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale. I've read too much and I've watched too much of that to be like, okay, what if one day they come from my womb?
Yeah, I get it. Because it'd be happening, in some places. All right, guys, that was Lady Comp, COMP, if you are interested in that. If you Google it, it pops up. But yeah, the Handmaid's Tale doesn't feel that far away, which is bizarre.
It's wild.
In certain parts of the world, obviously, we're talking about Roe versus Wade in America, but it's a curious time in which we live. Is the best way for me to casually frame it without having a mental breakdown on this episode. So I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm gonna save that for another day. You're welcome, guys. Do you have what is your most vivid memory of childbirth or Birth. Yeah, let me stick it with childbirth. Yeah.
Childbirth. I always have to go back to my number one. Bless him. He's with me today.
Yeah. Oh
my
gosh,
sweetie.
guys, he's so sweet. Oh,
he's adorable. So he made me a mother. My first vivid memory of being a mother.
Of birthing
a child. Yeah. Oh, yes. So do you know what's weird? I just remember I was meant to have a water birth.
Okay.
And my mum is a midwife. I think that's why I've been so very confident with childbirth.
Okay. Nice.
So I was like, yeah, my mum's going to be there. So I don't need to read anything. She'll be there. So she delivered my boys, which I think is so special. Yeah. She caught them both.
Oh my gosh.
So very special.
Yeah.
What
a gorgeous memory to have.
Yeah. Not just with just being a mother, but she's with the expertise of being a midwife for all these years, excellent. And I feel very grateful to have had her there and to have her. She's amazing. So yeah, I wanted a water birth, but I have a mother who's a very African mother who medicine, you know what medicine is to Africans? It's the pinnacle of life.
It's almost more important than you. But it's more important than you. Yes, medicine. Yeah.
So now when you have a daughter who's a hippie and says, oh, I don't want to go to the labor ward. I'm going to go and, sit in the water. So now your mommy water. Better get your yash into the labor ward and go and lie on your back. And with all the work I'd been doing on myself, I knew laying on my back wasn't it. Wasn't it? So I just remember, going back to the question, being in the water and feeling really at one with where I was. I knew when my baby was coming. I carried really small. Okay. So when I told my mum, he's going to come on his due date. She's like, really? You're so small. Like, you have like 3 more weeks. I said, no, mum, he's coming. Said, how do you know? I said, he's coming. And he's born just after, final day of the summer, essentially 31st of August. So Carnival happens around that time. So I remember telling her, Mum, we're going to go to Carnival. We're going to walk. So we walked around, bless her, traipsing around Carnival. We did 5 miles, we went round. She's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm walking the baby out. She's like, what are you doing? In her head, she's like, just go and rest.
These newfangled kids, what are they on about?
Right. God. But me and my hippie self that just moved all the time, constantly, knew that I had to keep moving. So 31st came, that was the day he was meant to be born. I'm taking myself to the, my husband's taking me to the water birthing center. Yeah. And I just remember sitting in that water and thinking,
he's coming.
I knew this was going to happen.
Oh my day.
And thinking, I know my child. He knows me. I've been talking to him. He's been talking to me. Nobody else knows him yet. Yeah. And all the story, all the book that the doctors can give you, they don't know what a mother knows. Even a mother that can't read will know more about their birthing situation than anybody in that room, any specialist in that room. So, I just remember sitting in that water thinking, wow, I knew this was going to happen, but I didn't have a water birth in the end. Okay. Because my baby was also feeling very relaxed, and he's like, I don't want to come anymore. I like this water.
I could stay here.
Yeah. I could be here.
Love the home you created for him. He's like, I could stay. Change your mind. Okay.
So I was fully much dilated, but he was just not coming.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I ended up in the labour ward. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it because it still was a beautiful birth. I still did all the things I'd been doing, all the breathing, all the breath work. Came into play. My mum was just looking at me like this. She's expecting me to be screaming.
Yeah, which is obviously what we are taught and told. And what
you see in Hollywood.
Literally,
No, actually, it's very, you are in control. You are, that is the, talking about creation. Like, you are doing God's work in real life. Like, physically, it's like, the most exciting thing, painful, but the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. So I remember just going into myself and just being in a labor ward it wasn't what I wanted. But again, I think not reading anything, not being obsessed. You know, when you make the birth plans and all that stuff, I didn't do it.
Okay.
They hated me in that NCT class. Is it NCT?
NCT, yeah.
They're like, oh, you got birth plan?
No.
What will be, will be. And it's interesting. My name, Uche Chukwu, it literally means God's plan. So now it's just hit me. It's like, that's just how I live my life. It's not a surprise. So it's just in this moment, like, I was like, I don't have a plan.
Yeah.
It will go how it goes. And my name was given to me because of how I was born.
Okay.
So my dad, Uche Chukwu literally means God's plan, God's will will be done no matter what.
Yeah.
So I was born and I was meant to be a boy.
Oh, okay.
And they found out on the day I was a girl.
Hello.
Hi. It's just me. And my dad walks in and my mum had a C-section and she's like, oh, what was it? And these were the days when they weren't 100% sure, but they were like 80% it will be a boy.
Okay.
So my dad walks in and says Uche Chukwu, which means in Igbo, God's plan. So going back to my birthing story I was like, no, I'm not going to write a birth plan because
what will be will be.
What will be will be. Just be ready to be ready to be ready.
Yeah.
And that was my focus.
Okay.
And I did that all three. All three very different births.
Okay.
But thankfully all three went really well.
Yeah. Amazing.
So I think if you give yourself too many things, cloud yourself with, okay, so I want this and I want there to be roses falling down plus, scented candles. And then you get disappointed because it doesn't always go that way. So if you don't have a plan and just kind of focus on what you can work with, do what you can with what you will. Okay, you have your vessel. Eat the things, do the things, look after yourself, and then just give it to God. Yeah, because that's all you can do.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah,
it is true. As much as it's true. The best work you can do, at least as well in my experience, is the mental work for sure. It's work. This labour is work you've never done before, and when you're in the thick of it and the throes of it, that you surrender to it because that's all that there is in that moment. Yeah. But it's true. Doing the mental work is the best work and probably the most consistent work you can do because anything else in terms of the space and the lighting and all that kinds of stuff. Beautiful if it goes according to that plan, but if it doesn't, at least mentally you're as prepared as you need to be. Yes. And you go through the process whether you're giving birth at hospital, in home, in the car, and obviously let it be at home or in the hospital. But do you mean like wherever you are, at least mentally you're as grounded as you can be.
Absolutely, because you could go into panic mode if you overdo it, and I've seen it too many times. Yeah. With your
with either pregnancy, was there a project that you started or created? I've kind of found whenever I ask that question, most moms seem to have started a new project when baby came or just before they came.
Interesting.
And it's either or if the project's still continuing, if it's turned to a business, if it's not. But did you start anything with either one?
It's funny you say that because I believe with every child, you become more wealthy, not just with money, but everything, knowledge. Yes, money. Your body, because girl, these hips ain't lying. My hips be hipping, and I never had hips. I've always had a bum. Yeah, but these hips are hipping. Hello. My girl gave me some, and I like it. So I'm wealthy in that area. So going into projects, yes, absolutely. With my first, I was very much at home and still very much doing my hair working as a hairdresser. I worked right up until he was born. Worked whilst he was a baby. He just sat in his chair. I was again, I don't even want to use the word work because it felt like play. I was seeing my clients because again I'd chosen the people that I want to be around me and be in my energy space, and it just felt like I was seeing old friends and they were coming to see the baby, plus I was making away and then with my second, he was born on Christmas Day.
Oh, wow.
I had just finished a program. I'd been on a program called BBC Hair whilst I didn't even know I was pregnant with him. Oh. So funny. All of them, I was pregnant for like 16 weeks before knowing I was pregnant.
No way.
Yeah, because I've always just been a mover. I'm moving constantly. So it was my son that told me I was pregnant with his brother. I was like, huh? Really? What? And I was on the show and just finished the show. So he was, I believe 6 or 7 months. My timeline might be messed up, by the way. But this all happened. So I opened, I was like, right, I can't, I now have 2 children and I've just done this show. I've got people, that are interested in, coming to see me and do, and, me facilitate their hair services. So why not open a salon? So I was like, right, I'm not going to just have a chair in a salon. I'm going to open my own. So that was the birth of, so I didn't just birth my son, I birthed the first salon of Natural Glow. And it was beautiful to see my name in lights. And yeah, I just remember holding him on my hip and, knocking down plasterboard or watching daddy knock down plasterboard and paint and and then with my daughter,
your princess,
oh my God, she has been, it's just like she's just, I guess, helped me. What is it? Well, I would say I didn't necessarily, but I know I did. Because I'm always birthing something. That's when with her, it's when I released my adult toy line. And
okay.
Yeah, so that was very much after she was, maybe 2, 3. I'd been thinking about it. Something I dreamt about 20 years ago, but then after her is when it really started to go down on paper.
Okay.
And I started, in terms of what it was going to look like, how it was just very much on paper.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but I knew that it was something I wanted to do when I was at university.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, the reason why I went, wow, was like, I didn't even know. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a facilitator of adult toys. Yes, please.
Yeah.
But it was just a facilitator. Oh my gosh, I'm a consumer. Better. So it's like, how did that even, okay, I really want to do that. Like, how did that even come together?
So, again, we have to go back.
Taking it back.
Take it back in the time. Again, I was at university.
Yeah.
I imagine I've just I went to Brunel, by the way. Big up all the Brunel massive. I was living in, is it Mill Hall at the time? And I was the only black girl on my floor. Amongst
in Brunel.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
But upstairs, all the Nigerian, Ghanaian massive were all upstairs, but I was the only black girl on my floor.
Yeah.
So I was surrounded by people that come from like Cornwall and Kent and English. I just not looking like me. So I was the only black girl, and of course everyone thought I was the coolest, and I was the best dancer.
Super cool.
just the usual things. But then what they didn't know is that I was very sheltered.
Okay.
If I was upstairs with the rest of black girls, we all, our history. We all grew up in church, and we don't talk about sex. None of that at home.
Yeah.
But I'm on the floor with all these girls who are very open, and it wasn't like a giggle. It was just we're talking about
freedom to
and this is what's happening to my body, and this is what we're doing. And with that said, my neighbor at the time said, I'm going to have an Ann Summers party. And I was like, yay!
What's an Ann Summers party?
What's an Ann Summers party? But I didn't ask because I was like, maybe I should know. Everyone else knew what it was. I was like, yeah, we're going to do this. And so then I saw on the day, we had drinks and food, and we were sat in her room, and this lady came along with her suitcase. And I'm again, completely unaware. I didn't know what this was.
Yeah.
This lady opens the suitcase. I'm like, oh, what's that? And she starts bringing all these things out. And I'm like, and then the giggles, and then, playing with it.
Yeah.
We had a wicked time. Then I realized, that's supposed to go in. Right. So I'm now learning all these things for the first time as a 18, 19-year-old that these girls seemed like they knew about from a young age, talked about, very comfortable about talking about. And it was really cool. We had fun, but it was still educational.
Yeah.
So of course, run upstairs to my girls. I was like, girls, we need to have an Ann Summers party. And it was, again, crickets. Like, shoot, what have I said? Did I swear? why do they have summer's party? That's for slags. So I was like,
oh my gosh, slags.
wow.
That's cool. Got it.
Okay. So this is something in our community we need to work on. So in that moment, I remember saying to myself, one day I'm going to host a party with sex toys, and it's going to be full of women of many backgrounds, especially women that have come from the background I've come from. Yeah. Because I know it's not just Africans that have this. Yeah. You have it in Asian communities as well, and others. Yeah. But I just knew specifically for where I've come from as, young African Nigerian girl growing up in church, sheltered from all things to do with sex.
That side of it all, even though it's very much a part of life. It's a huge part of life.
So it's not just the toy side. It's also, let's talk about our wombs, guys. Womb health. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about, everything. Yeah. So that fascination started there 20 years ago. And I remember saying it to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to have a room full of women. We're going to be talking about sex, and I'm going to come around with my sex toys and my brand. And 20 years later, having my daughter made it more poignant, I guess, because now I have a direct audience. No, I'm not talking. No, I'm not showing her sex toys and saying, this is where this goes. No, it's me studying about the menstruation, because we even when I go around and we do tutor parties. So tutor is the brand. Metuta means in Igbo, metuta uche means sensuality, touching the deepest parts of you. Okay. So tutor is the name of the brand, and it's very much in its beginning stages, and I'm growing it organically. Okay. I am doing tutor parties, just like summer's parties used to happen. So it's not just we're selling toys off the shelf, we're talking about it as well. We're not just making money, we're making a change in our community, making it taking away the stigma, and also educating ourselves as not just people who have had kids, but mainly people, because I'm talking from where I am. After having children, your body does some things and you're like, man, I don't feel anything there anymore. How can I feel something there again? And this is where toys and gadgets come into play. And also, yes, you can use your hands, but some people have not grown up being comfortable using their hands. So attaching something fun that doesn't look garish and scary to that, to those actions does help. It does help to start a conversation. Yeah, okay. Because some people think, oh my God, something's wrong with me. Okay, I'm just not going to even try and have sex anymore. Yeah. But why? Let's talk about it. Let's encourage each other. Let's get better together. Yeah. So that's where what I birthed with my, I don't know why she's over there. The whimsical arm. That's what I birthed. with the birth of my daughter. So it's a lot of things. Yeah. But like I said, that when I came in here, I was very much, came in here with that energy that I am a creator, and it doesn't just, there's not a box I can be.
That you can fit into. It's true.
That I can fit into.
And it's phenomenal to be able to explore that versatility with such confidence, and also even understanding, okay, I need to work on this or do the research for this. So I think that's amazing to be able to do. It's great that you didn't try and drill down to just focus on one trade, as growing up we may have heard. And now we live in a space where people are very multifaceted and they're showing that off. It's brilliant that those of us before coming into this space still stuck to that way of being, even though it wasn't the norm. But yes, that's phenomenal that these are the things that have come along and coincided with the birth, and you're able to kind of see them through to where you are now.
It's all personal. Now I'm speaking it out loud. Yeah, it's all like it's self-fulfilling, because it's where I am in life. So why not?
Is it trippy to hear? Sometimes just listing your journey, or listing the things that you've gone through, seeing the things that you're grateful for. Like sometimes, yes, you do forget for sure. Absolutely. But is it also surreal, like hearing it out loud?
It is, but it is it's trippy. But then it's weird. I remember when I first opened my salon, for instance, and somebody said to me, "Wow, it's beautiful. Did you ever think it'd be like this?" And I was like, "Yeah, actually, I did." Because it comes to you. If we're all honest, we all had dreams, especially as creators.
Yeah.
Like we've all seen certain things. So if you've dreamt it, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't make it easy though.
Yeah.
Girl, I still cry into my pillowcase, but and scream like, my God, why am I doing so many things? But it's like this. Oh, it has to come out. And as a creator, you know, like if you don't get it out, it's gonna bug you.
Yeah.
It's going to bug you. And if God is giving you something to do, you're the vessel for something, and you don't do it, it's just gonna take it and give it to someone else. Yeah. So just do the thing, my dear. Even if it's not perfect, perfect it along the way.
Yes, there we go.
Perfect it along the way and build like gradually building things is where I'm at, because like, you know, we're in a world that is powered by money, capitalism, and just do. So the focus a lot is, there was a time when it's, you know, talking about the toy brand, I was like, right, sell online, but then actually it didn't sit with where this organically came from. Okay. This I don't want to even call it a business, but this part of my life didn't sit with that whole, I want to sell. No, I actually want to have conversations. So we have meetups, and it's lovely. It's like it's freeing, because I'm learning things about myself and also empowering women to speak openly and freely about themselves. So it's like, wow, we're all in the same place at the same time, or we've been in that place, and how did you unpick that? Or you're about to be in that place. This is what can help. Yeah. So yeah, it is trippy at times to hear it back, but then at the same time, I'm like, well, I dreamt about it. So why am I surprised? So it's weird. It's two-pronged. Yeah.
Uche, tell me, where can we find you? Your socials, girl. Everything. Are you going to come back on this podcast? Yes,
absolutely.
You don't even have a choice, but thank you for giving your confirmation. All right?
Yes.
Tell us all the stuff.
Okay, let me see if I can
remember it all now. That's the thing with socials. There's so many places where you are. Let's okay, what's my handle for?
Right. My handle for most things is Uche Abuah, and that is spelled UcheAbuah. And I believe that is for Twitter, formerly X, formerly Twitter, which I haven't used much, actually. I'm actually just about to jump back on it. So you can follow me on X. On TikTok, certainly, it's Uche Abuah. On Instagram, it's Uche Abuah. And you can find me there. And I am on... Obviously, my salon is Natural Glow, which is under The Natural Glow. Glow is spelt GLOE, which is also on YouTube as Natural Glow. And we have a family YouTube channel called The Abuah Team, which I need to just get back on because it's so much fun. Yeah. Nice. We vlog about travel and... Yeah.
Gosh, every day I want to go back to vlogging, but I'm like, okay, Rachel, one thing.
It's a lot, but I love it because the children look back at it. Even though we don't really post, we don't post to children. But it's nice for them to watch it back. They see themselves in it, but they're like, oh my gosh, I remember we did that and we did that, and cute. It's something to do with those videos that you don't want to get lost. Yeah, and I agree. Love moving pictures. I love pictures in general, but moving pictures. It so much. So yeah, vlogging has my heart, even though it's hard. I believe that's all the socials.
That's it. That's you. Perfection. I will have this down anyway, and all descriptors and things like that. So yeah, awesome. Uche, thank you so much for your time. We finally did it, no?
We did it.
This has been a session in the making, so I'm glad we've got part 1 down.
Done and done.
Hey loves, before we sign off, just a quick note to remind you that everything shared on this episode is based on personal research and personal experiences, lived experiences. I hope we were able to give you some food for thought, but please make sure you conduct your own research and speak to your healthcare professional if you have any questions or concerns. Okay, with love, catch you on the next one.